For centuries, the human brain was considered a fixed and unchangeable organ. The prevailing belief was that once we reached adulthood, our brain's structure and function were set in stone. Scientists believed that after a certain age, our brains were essentially hardwired. This notion suggested that our capacity for learning and adaptation was limited, and any damage to the brain was often seen as irreversible. However, groundbreaking discoveries in neuroscience have shattered this long-held belief. With the advent of advanced brain imaging technologies and innovative research methods, scientists have uncovered new insights into the brain's incredible adaptability. We now know that the brain possesses an astonishing ability to change and adapt throughout our lives. This adaptability is not just limited to early development, but continues well into old age. This remarkable capacity is known as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, allowing it to compensate for injury, disease, and adjust to new situations or changes in the environment. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. This process is driven by our experiences, thoughts, and actions, which continuously shape and reshape the neural pathways in our brains. It's the process by which our brains change in response to our experiences, thoughts, and actions. Whether we are learning a new language, practicing a musical instrument, or recovering from a brain injury, neuroplasticity is at work. Like a sculptor molding clay, our brains are constantly being shaped and reshaped by our interactions with the world around us. Every new experience, every challenge we face, and every skill we acquire leaves an imprint on our brain's structure. This discovery has profound implications for our understanding of learning, memory, recovery from injury, and even the aging process. It opens up new possibilities for rehabilitation therapies, educational strategies, and cognitive enhancement techniques. It means that we are not prisoners of our genes or our past experiences. We have the power to change our brains and, consequently, our lives. This understanding empowers us to take control of our mental and cognitive health. Our brains are not static entities, but rather dynamic, ever-evolving organs with the potential for growth and transformation. This dynamic nature of the brain means that we can continue to develop and improve our cognitive abilities throughout our lives. By understanding the principles of neuroplasticity, we can unlock the brain's incredible potential and live richer, more fulfilling lives. We can harness this potential to learn new skills, adapt to new challenges, and enhance our overall well-being. We can learn new skills, overcome challenges, and even enhance our cognitive abilities at any age. The concept of neuroplasticity offers hope and possibilities for everyone, regardless of age or background, to achieve personal growth and cognitive resilience. To truly grasp the power of neuroplasticity, it's helpful to understand how it works at the neuronal level. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. This ability allows the neurons in the brain to compensate for injury and disease and to adjust their activities in response to new situations or changes in their environment. Our brains are made up of billions of nerve cells called neurons. These neurons are the fundamental units of the brain and nervous system, responsible for receiving sensory input from the external world, for sending motor commands to our muscles, and for transforming and relaying the electrical signals at every step in between. These neurons communicate with each other through electrical and chemical signals, forming intricate networks that underlie our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. The synapses, or the junctions between neurons, play a crucial role in this communication process. They allow the transfer of information from one neuron to another, facilitating the complex processes that enable us to think, learn, and remember. Neuroplasticity occurs when these neural connections are strengthened, weakened, or rewired altogether. This dynamic process is essential for learning, memory, and recovery from brain injuries. It allows the brain to adapt to new experiences, learn new information, and even recover from damage by reorganizing itself and forming new neural pathways. When we learn something new, our brains create new connections between neurons. This process is known as synaptogenesis, and it is fundamental to our ability to acquire new skills and knowledge. Each time we learn something new, our brain's structure changes, creating new synapses and strengthening existing ones. The more we practice that skill or repeat that information, the stronger those connections become. This is because repeated activation of the same neural pathways reinforces the synaptic connections, making them more efficient and robust. This principle is often summarized by the phrase, "Neurons that fire together wire together." This process is known as synaptic plasticity. Synaptic plasticity is the ability of synapses to strengthen or weaken over time, in response to increases or decreases in their activity. It is a key mechanism underlying learning and memory, allowing the brain to adapt to new information and experiences. Imagine a path through a forest. At first, the path is barely visible, overgrown with vegetation and difficult to navigate. But as you walk the path repeatedly, it becomes clearer and more defined. The more you walk that path, the clearer and more defined it becomes. This is because the repeated use of the path wears down the vegetation and creates a more distinct trail. Similarly, repeated activation of neural pathways strengthens the synaptic connections, making them more efficient and easier to access. This is similar to how synaptic plasticity works. Just as a well-trodden path in the forest becomes easier to navigate, well-used neural pathways become more efficient and robust, facilitating faster and more accurate information processing. Conversely, if we stop using certain neural pathways, those connections weaken and may eventually disappear. This process is known as synaptic pruning, and it is essential for maintaining the efficiency of the brain's neural networks. By eliminating unused or redundant connections, the brain can focus its resources on strengthening the most important and frequently used pathways. This is why it's easier to remember things we use frequently and why skills we don't practice tend to fade over time. The brain's ability to strengthen or weaken synaptic connections based on usage is a fundamental aspect of learning and memory, allowing us to retain important information and skills while discarding those that are no longer relevant. Neuroplasticity also involves neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons in the brain. This process occurs primarily in the hippocampus, a region of the brain associated with learning and memory. Neurogenesis plays a crucial role in the brain's ability to adapt to new experiences and recover from injury. While this process was once thought to occur only in early development, we now know that it continues throughout adulthood, particularly in areas of the brain involved in learning and memory. This discovery has profound implications for our understanding of brain health and cognitive function, suggesting that we can continue to learn and grow throughout our lives. This means that our brains have the remarkable ability to generate new cells and forge new connections, even as we age. By engaging in activities that challenge our brains, such as learning new skills, solving puzzles, and staying mentally active, we can promote neurogenesis and maintain cognitive function well into old age. This highlights the importance of lifelong learning and mental stimulation in preserving brain health and preventing cognitive decline. Neuroplasticity is the foundation of learning and personal growth. Every time we engage in a new activity, learn a new language, or acquire a new skill, our brains are changing and adapting. This process begins in early childhood, as our brains are incredibly plastic during this period of rapid development. Young children's brains are like sponges, soaking up information and forming new connections at an astonishing rate. But the capacity for neuroplasticity doesn't end in childhood. Our brains remain adaptable throughout our lives, meaning that we can continue to learn, grow, and evolve at any age. This has profound implications for education, personal development, and even our careers. It means that we are not limited by our past experiences or perceived limitations. By embracing a growth mindset and actively engaging in activities that challenge our brains, we can enhance our cognitive flexibility, improve our memory, and expand our intellectual horizons. Whether it's learning a musical instrument, taking up a new hobby, or simply challenging ourselves to think in new ways, the possibilities for growth and transformation are truly endless. Knowing that our brains are capable of change is one thing, but how can we actively harness the power of neuroplasticity to improve our lives? The concept of neuroplasticity, or the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, is fascinating. It means that our brains are not static but dynamic and adaptable. This adaptability can be influenced by our actions, experiences, and even our thoughts. Fortunately, there are many practical strategies we can incorporate into our daily routines to promote brain health and enhance neuroplasticity. Lifelong learning is crucial. Engaging in continuous education keeps our minds sharp and receptive to new information. Whether it's through formal education, online courses, or self-study, the act of learning stimulates our brain and encourages growth. Engaging in activities that challenge our cognitive abilities, such as learning a new language, can significantly boost brain plasticity. When we learn a new language, our brain is forced to recognize, negotiate meaning, and communicate in different linguistic systems. This process strengthens the brain's ability to adapt and grow. Taking up a musical instrument or solving puzzles are other excellent ways to enhance neuroplasticity. Playing an instrument requires the integration of sensory information, motor skills, and cognitive functions, which together stimulate various parts of the brain. Similarly, solving puzzles challenges our problem-solving skills and promotes the formation of new neural pathways. These activities help to create new neural connections, making our brains more resilient and adaptable. The more we challenge our brains, the more connections we form, and the better our brains function. Regular exercise also plays a vital role in enhancing brain plasticity. Physical activity increases the production of neurotrophic factors, which support the growth and survival of neurons. Physical activity not only benefits our bodies, but it also increases blood flow to the brain, delivering essential nutrients and oxygen that support brain health. This increased blood flow stimulates neurogenesis, the process of forming new neurons, and enhances cognitive function. Regular exercise has been linked to improved memory, attention, and processing speed. Stimulating neurogenesis and enhancing cognitive function are crucial for maintaining a healthy brain throughout our lives. Research has shown that even moderate exercise can have significant benefits for brain health. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation and yoga, have also been shown to promote neuroplasticity. These practices encourage a state of focused attention and awareness, which can lead to structural changes in the brain. Meditation, for example, has been found to increase the thickness of the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for decision-making, attention, and self-control. Yoga combines physical movement with mindfulness, enhancing both physical and mental well-being. These practices help to calm the mind, reduce stress, and improve focus and attention. Stress reduction is particularly important as chronic stress can negatively impact brain function and structure. By improving focus and attention, mindfulness practices contribute to a more adaptable brain. They help us to stay present and engaged, which is essential for learning and memory, all of which contribute to a more adaptable brain. Practices like Tai Chi, which combine physical movement with mindfulness, can also be beneficial. A healthy diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, and omega-3 fatty acids, is also essential for optimal brain health. These nutrients support the structure and function of the brain cells. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in foods like salmon and avocados, are particularly important for maintaining the fluidity of cell membranes and supporting communication between brain cells. These nutrients provide the building blocks for healthy brain cells and support cognitive function. Supplements can also be considered if dietary intake is insufficient. By making simple lifestyle changes, such as incorporating regular exercise, mindfulness practices, and a healthy diet, we can significantly enhance our brain's plasticity. Engaging in activities that challenge and nourish our brains like playing chess or can also be beneficial. These activities stimulate cognitive function and promote social interaction, both of which are important for brain health. We can tap into the remarkable power of neuroplasticity potential for growth and